What's up, everybody? Welcome to a special live edition of the Fan Effect podcast. As always, I am your host, the Bushido Geek, aka the Shogun of Fandom. Sam is not here today; she's seeing Batman. So I said that was justified enough to not have to do work today, and we will reprimand her later. But as always, I'm not alone. I'm sure you guys can obviously see here as people will slowly start trickling in. We have Arman here. Now, I just met you a month ago, which seems crazy because it feels a lot longer, in a good way. But we're here because you met. I think you hinted at it before that you had a lot more books in the works.
Yes.
So we're here because like I said, it's only been a month, but we got another one here. So we're going to be talking about some of your new Kickstarter stuff today, and then as always, I'm going to make you reveal something embarrassing about yourself. I'm just kidding. But we'll dive in just kind of what's been going on the last month for you. But to start off, can you quickly recap for everybody how the last Kickstarter turned out and what that was for again?
It was for this book right here called Lost Magic, Season 1. And that it went very well. You know, we got it. It was 21 days in January, and then it overfunded. You know, it was only 1,500, and we got it for like 2,200, and then I got it printed out. You know, so it's great. And then I shipped it all out. You know, within a 2-week turnaround time, and backers received it right as the campaign ended. You know, within 2 weeks, the fastest turnaround on a Kickstarter. I'm trying to build that reputation.
Yeah,
And,
that's a dangerous reputation to build.
Well, this was first.
Like, I'm gonna I'll be better. I'll be faster than everybody else, hands down. And then you'll get one Kickstarter that will just blow up insanely past the amount, and you're just gonna be like, So, anyways, guys, that whole fastest in the West thing is
I was excited for it. I was, the community really stepped up and came out in the last few days. You know, I wasn't sure if it was gonna the entire time. I think we talked about that when I was on before. Then it really, really picked up towards the end there, and again overfunded, and it was very exciting. And then it gained more confidence going into the second one.
Yeah, and you have a lot more people working on this one too. So we have the new one. It's Genetic Superiority. It's gonna be 24 pages. Very science fiction, but obviously you're gonna do a much better job of explaining what this is. But did you have Genetic Superiority mostly done before, or did you kind of after the first Kickstarter saw the success kind of dove back into it?
It was definitely the release slate. I would say it wasn't mostly done. The line art was done for sure. The line art is actually already done for number 2. But then, we just had to get the colors in, the lettering, and, revising any script that needed to be revised. And then again, the marketing, putting together the page and the trailer and sending it all out. But yeah, it wasn't, it was a quick turnaround time too. After I saw the success of the first one, where then I'm like, I was with Jared and we're like, let's pick up the pace here, to kind of get the second one out. So that's kind of how it worked. So definitely, sped up the production, on our end.
Yeah, I can imagine. You're like, all right, maybe it's time to go a little crazy on this one.
Yeah.
So I know for the first one, you were primarily you pretty much did a lot of the writing. Did you try to dabble in anything else this time?
No. So for that first one, I did do the lettering as well. But I put together a team here because I actually run a webcomic called Not Unlovable. So you can look it up at notunlovable.com. But I actually did the coloring for that one, and mixed results as well. So it was a good time. I had I found a much greater appreciation for what the artists do, because it's not easy, and what they do to make it look so good. It's a tough thing to do. But I definitely stuck to writing and navigating the story and the scope of it.
Yeah, no, I can definitely know what you're talking about. So, what is Genetic Superiority? How what's the kind of the background for, as much as you want to give away, I've said, but if you were in a comic book store and you turn to the back cover, and that back cover has that paragraph description on it, what's that paragraph description for Genetic Superiority?
Yeah, for sure. So it's so in a distant future, an ancient prophecy, foretelling the end of the world begins to unfold. And it really starts with this prophecy that sets into motion an apocalyptic like event where it's like a ticking time bomb. Where now everybody on this in this world, which has it kind of has to survive. They have to they were all working on it through scientific breakthroughs. There's three separate factions of society that kind of arise in this world, and that people have split into, and they're enemies. They don't really like each other. They all really think they're correct, and they all think that their way is the of living is the right way to kind of survive this apocalypse. But it speeds up them when they kind of have to speed up their survival tactics and stuff, and to form into the next evolution. And that's really what the story is about. Like, what does the future of humanity look like? What is the next evolution of man? And yeah.
I like that. I mean, it's very what we're dealing with in today's world. So you're not too far off with end of the
Yes.
world stuff. So
Yeah.
you're keeping it accurate, and I
Yeah,
appreciate
and it's
that.
a very grounded story. It's not a crazy sci-fi. I mean, it can get a little wild, but it's very grounded in terms of it represents our society and politics and all of that good stuff that keeps it grounded.
Yeah, and I'll bring it up here while we're talking, so people can see this. So let me make sure it's okay. Here we go. All right. So as I'm kind of scrolling through stuff here now, I know for the first one it was two of you on the first one, right? That we talked about.
Yes.
So how did this team kind of come together for you?
Well, actually, no. There was a few of on the first one.
Oh
There
yeah,
was
yeah,
yeah, there was like four. But so this team, kind of the same way. Looking online, I had a few people in mind that I wanted to work with, but not the right project. So I kind of kept them in my back pocket, and and then when this project came together, I reached out to Brian first. We started doing all the line art, and after the line art was done, I found the team, the coloring team of Giorgio and Tiziana. They were very very cool. They're from Italy. They graduated from a very uh, famous art school over there, and then we kind of just tried to see what we could get done, and then it really brought the world to life. And then Jared did the lettering, and it kind of just everything fell into place.
yeah. So I gotta say too, one of the things I was when I looked at it earlier that I appreciated was the list of reasons why the project could fail or be delayed for any reason.
Yeah.
I feel like many of these are probably going to happen soon, especially the Amazon one. So hopefully we can get that figured out when Amazon inevitably takes over our postal system. So
Yeah,
I'd say
for
that one's
sure.
probably going to happen pretty soon.
I was so confident after my first one that that's the only reason I could see it being failing. Those few handful of scenarios.
Yeah. So I know there's different. Obviously, like it's Kickstarter, so I'll kind of scroll through a little bit of the tiers here. But what is kind of like the general kind of things people can get back when supporting the Kickstarter and kind of like that process?
Yeah. So we gave the digital copy, and also the main copy of the book is available for $10, and then you get the art print. And the art print has all three factions in that one photo. I think if you scroll down on the main page, we'll see it a little bit. Yeah, it's right after this. Yeah, right there. That's the art print, and then you get the variant cover, a step up at $25, and that's only limited to 100 print copies. Um, and then you can get all of the copies if you want, all the physical copies for $50, including the main cover, the variant cover, and the black and white main cover. So it has a special black and white version of the book as well. If people who like the line art versus seeing the colored end
Right.
result.
So how are all of these ideas coming together? Because to turn around like so much in a short period of time, not knocking your fastest guy in the West comic, but like, is it hard for you to kind of like juggle between which one's currently coming out and then which one you're still writing or having colors or?
No, so it definitely was, and this was a weird period because I, learned a lot from my first campaign, and going into the second one, I kind of learned that I have to now really think far in advance. So this came up in like a weird time where it was like a transition phase almost. So for me now, the next few projects, I'm like months ahead, and I'm trying to be even further ahead, trying to get further ahead every day. With getting the trailers done, the pages, the Kickstarter pages up and ready, the writing, the lettering. Yeah, it's a smooth process, but yeah, it's something that in my mind I'm working on all these things at once, but I have a sense of time, priorities, which is coming out next, which is coming out in a month from now. So which can I kind of slack off on, which can I not?
Right.
So yeah, again, we talk about priorities a little bit, but it's kind of like that. And yeah, I'm very ambitious, so it's kind of
Yeah.
how it
Yeah,
kind of is shaping up.
yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. So when people support it, I know you talk about like you did your stuff last time very quickly. What's like a turnaround for like if I supported it, let's say like today,
Yeah.
and at like let's just say like the $10 tier or something like that, where you're going to get a physical copy. Like how soon could people expect it if they supported in the
Yeah.
next like couple days?
Um, so the campaign is gonna end on Monday, so that's in 3 days,
Yeah,
on the 7th, and March 7th, and you can expect it, by the end of March. So that's the print copy should be in my hands mid March, and then I just have to sign them all, pack them all up, ship it out, and then shipping, however long that takes to get to you. But yeah, end of March is kind of a good time frame, and then or the first few days of April.
yeah, and I got to imagine it's probably not super fun, taking like 50, 100 envelopes and just send
Oh, that
send.
was something I learned as well for Lost Magic. Yeah, that was not a fun night, but I did it in like one night. I just didn't sleep, and I was like, "All right, I just got to get
Just
it done."
pull just pull the all night. Like, all right, all this has to go out tomorrow, so
Yeah,
I just don't get to sleep.
yeah. I just didn't want to worry about it anymore. I'm like, all right, let me just do it, get
Yeah.
it over with.
So what
That's
was?
the variant, by the way, the variant cover
Oh,
painted.
let me. There you go. Yeah, which is pretty. Which is pretty sweet.
Yes, yes, I was very excited for that cover.
So I know we kind of briefly touched on this last time, but I'm curious to see if it's changed a whole lot. When kind of like obviously ahead of time what you're trying to go with, did you try to give the team this time, like did you give them like more leeway with stuff, less leeway, or did you kind of like what was kind of like that creative process when they're kind of like showing you
Oh,
back pages?
interesting. Yeah, I especially for these covers in particular, I do know now what exactly I want. I used to be giving people, just like free reign, like kind of telling them this is what I'm thinking, but really take it and you can take it and run. Now I kind of know that I kind of know what people like and what people they look for. So now I'm just like, this is exactly what I want, and kind of describing it in more detail, especially for the of my future covers as well. For Lost Magic season 2, I knew exactly. I didn't really get. I told them exactly what to do, because I think that's kind of it helps me in the marketing as well. But for the line art, obviously I give a lot of leeway to the artists to kind of come up with the layouts and the freedom to kind of switch panels and things around and affect the flow. But definitely, I kind of knew exactly what I wanted when putting the page together here and the covers, and things like that.
Okay, no, that makes sense. It's like you kind of like learn uh, what kind of like you said, like what works, what doesn't work ahead of time, so you're able to kind of like uh, get this done. Also, I think
Yeah.
it's pretty relevant that like you have it in here, like for fans of Attack on Titan, considering season 2 is going on right now.
Yes, that
Uh, for
definitely helped.
for people that are currently binging Attack on Titan,
Yes.
here's an indication uh, of some stuff that you can see. Also, I
But
gotta say, the aim alone of hitting the squirrel is like beyond impressive. Like forget anything else alone. That alone is super impressive. Like,
It absolutely is. He is the chosen one. For the purists. For that society. and he is a very great warrior. He's the greatest warrior, so he
Right.
definitely has some skills up his sleeve.
Yeah, I can definitely like admire that. I was like, okay, I respect. I mean, I'm again, when anyone's generally using a katana, I'm gonna be a fan of it. But when you're fighting bears and hitting squirrels at like 40 yards, you've definitely got my vote. And we got some people here now talking about Attack on Titan. So, now obviously, like you said, this one's kind of already was completed ahead of time. Now, I'm trying to remember from the first project you work with, and I know you kind of mentioned that you kind of had different people in mind. Um, but this was your first time working with, I'm guessing, a few of them, right?
So actually, Giorgio was the colorist of this variant cover. I don't know if you remember this one was the Lost Magic, the
Oh yeah,
Rebellion
yeah, yeah, yeah.
cover. And this is the original artwork piece, but he did the covers for that, and I like them a lot. I kind of want to bring him back on for another project, and then again, this was the right one. The way he really brought it to life, the line art, and so yeah. I mean, I kind of, definitely knew them all and kind of already had them ready to go. So,
All right, who was the worst one?
oh man,
Just,
I was probably the first one,
just yelling at everyone at 4 in the morning when you're shipping boxes. Guys, seriously, just
um,
uh,
but no, they're all very good. And actually, and it was a quicker turnaround. They all worked very quickly as well to kind of get this out there. But, we've been working on this for like, over a year now. So the fact that it kind of had to come together, pretty quickly, like the finishing touches only, all the major things were done. The line art was all done. And then, it was really just trying to, let's get it colored, let's get it lettered, and, let's
yeah.
get it out there.
So what to you, and obviously you're probably biased, but what to you makes genetics purity like just stand out in general? Like what to you is like its key things that people can like look forward to and expect, and
Yeah,
just
I think everybody will identify with one of the three, factions here. I think there's no right or wrong answer. I think that was very important, going into the story. I was, telling Jared and the rest of the team is, we got to make it so that, people are conflicted. People are not only conflicted, there are varying shades, or varying shades, of belief in each of these factions. That people are like very hardcore versus people are just doing the bare minimum and just I just have some general belief, versus an extreme belief in what they're doing, and yeah, that was um, a big thing. Not having not like a yin and yang, but maybe a third option having that is going against each other. Um, so yeah, and kind of making sure that we kind of took a very grounded approach to the science of it, that it can be done in real. That was also big, because it's not like a crazy futuristic, year 3000 sci-fi tech story. It is very in today's day and age. What would happen if some scientific breakthroughs happened maybe decades from now, down the line, or a few years from now. So
yeah. No, I like that. I mean, I can definitely say, like, obviously, for people that are listening now or later or whenever it might be, um, like, I obviously had you on the first time for a reason. Obviously, I wouldn't bring you back if I didn't enjoy the work or think that it was projects not worth supporting. So definitely already encouraging people. Like, not only are you very close to the initial goal, like $57 or something to meeting the first goal, but there's so many different things past that. I know there's always like stretch goals.
yep.
Obviously, I know generally keep those secret so people get really surprised. Um, but are there any of them that you're like particularly excited for, and like what level would you have to hit to get that?
That's a good one. You know, I want to definitely focus on getting. Let's get the 1200 first, but
Right.
there's going to be a
Well,
very
you're gonna hit that. We're just this
if
is
we
gonna
get
get hits. It's
to yeah,
$57. You're hitting it. Like, yeah, go on.
I learned the hard way of the last time. Keep it on rest. I think if we get to 2000, there'll be a very cool surprise and a very big surprise, for that one. And again, for Lost Magic, I was pricing the reward structure, for stretch goals, like every like 250 $250. So it'll probably be something like that. It'll probably have one at 1,500 and then one again at 2,000, I think.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right, I like that. So 2,000, everyone is the real goal.
Yeah.
So we can see some special secret stuff
Yes.
of some projects here. Now, one of the things I've just been kind of like curious about is when you're getting ready for this to like get finished, right? Like you're waiting for the kind of the printer. Like, is there? I don't know. Even though you obviously you wrote it and you like kind of know what it looks like ahead of time, is there like just like a different feeling though when you actually get that printed copy back for the first time and you're able to kind of like
Yeah,
flip
for
through it?
sure. To be honest, I didn't even get to read Lost Magic 1 in print yet. I've only had it, for, a little like a month now, like a little less than a month in my hands. But yeah, I've been, just packing it off and sending it off to people and trying to sell it. I would say that it's different modes because I am juggling a lot, but I do think that there's definitely an excitement seeing it for the first time, and it is different than reading it, on my computer, or even when I was making it originally, like lettering it. So yeah, the same is going to be here, and definitely a level of excitement, receiving it in the mail and things like that.
Yeah. What was the so when you were kind of getting through to this project and you're like you knew that this project was kind of wrapping up to the point where you were getting ready for it to like come out and do more work on it. Was there any particular part just about this project in general that you were excited about? Was it the idea? Was it the premise? Was it just the fact that it's, the first one succeeded? Like what to you like kind of was the thing that was like, man, I'm really
Yeah,
excited to keep going.
so I was, as I told you, I was with many projects down the line, like I was thinking so far ahead, and just really going back into this project, making the pitch on this Kickstarter page. I really kind of like fell in love with it. It was like a weird situation where I kind of like, oh, this is really cool. Was a great idea, and it was kind of one of those things where I have to kind of think more in the now and be like, oh wow, this is this is the project right now, and it's a very good one. So yeah, this it was one of those things where I I was almost surprised by how good how good it turned out. It was like, oh yeah, this turned out really well.
Yeah, I can definitely attest to that. So I can. I mean, I'm excited for this one. I mean, I get excited for most things now when it comes to. Like I said, you generally are doing stuff that's pretty up my alley, so it's pretty hard not to get excited about it in general. Which makes me probably biased, but that's probably why you keep coming back because you're like, oh, this guy's pretty biased to liking, so I'm gonna be good here.
Boost my
But
confidence for sure.
yeah. So I don't know. You probably remember from last time. We always like to kind of just take a swerve before we jump back at the end, just to kind of find out a little bit more about you. So I know last time we kind of just had you talk about kind of your background and kind of like what got you started and everything like that. So what I want to focus on now, just really quickly, because I know you have a hard stop, is just when it comes to these projects in general. We talked about it kind of before. A lot of people really don't know what they're doing, or they're kind of curious as to what they can do to get started. So I just kind of like have you recap like what's the biggest thing that you've learned from project 1 to 2 that you really think is important for people to kind of like pay attention to.
Yeah, people. Every time people ask me this question, it's something that I've learned this the hard way. You don't have to do it alone. Like honestly, join the community. There's a whole Kickstarter community on Kickstarter, and if you don't know what I mean by that, literally go and check the comics, section out. See what's currently happening, being currently crowdfunding and raising funds, and that right there is your community. The other creators are a big part of it, but also the other backers and comment on people's pages and back their page, back their comics obviously, but also reach out to them for advice for how to do this thing, how to do that thing. And there's a large community, especially like you and different podcasts and live streams that are out there, all kind of trying to support each other. So that's kind of the biggest advice and thing that I've learned. I didn't have to do it, by myself, and I probably made it a lot harder when I started out, thinking that I needed to, and I could, and I could almost,
Yeah.
so.
No, it's definitely good advice. There's not like I said, even though there's like groups, like a lot of people are just going to be willing to help you if you just are like, hey, I kind of need help with something,
Yeah.
which is always pretty nice. Now, you personally, it's been about a month since we've had a chance to chat. Besides running yourself ragged by shipping boxes at 4 a.m. and working on 9 projects at once, when you have found a brief moment, what have you been like doing? What have you been watching? What have you been trying to like get into? Like, what's been going on with you in the last couple weeks?
Yeah, I went to a Youngblood concert. That was fun.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I definitely, find time to do other things. One of the things that I really wanted to start, doing was, going back to the gym, working out more, running more, some stuff like that I've kind of been, pushing to the top of my priority. Um, so definitely finding more time for that, and of course, whatever is cool on Netflix, or right now it's Apple TV has, I think, the best shows for some reason. The After Party,
Hmm.
uh, just watching things like that. I know Amazon just had Jack Reacher. That was a fun
Yeah,
one. So yeah, I watch a lot. I watch all of them, when I can kind of wind down. I learned to give myself off on the weekends, because
yeah,
otherwise I would drive myself crazy, and I kind of need that,
yeah.
rest and relaxation.
Yeah, breaks are needed. As I get yelled at by my co-host all the time for never taking a break because I'm usually working on something at least to an extent every day. Until like after like 2 weeks, my body's like, "Hey, we're gonna go to sleep at like 8 p.m. today because I'm just gonna crash." So just expect that. So don't do that. For everyone listening, don't do that. Make sure you actually take breaks. Otherwise, you're just gonna crash. So is it? I know there's a lot. Is there anything coming out like movie show wise that like you're pretty excited for?
Yeah, the Batman. I was trying to see it all this week, because we're gonna me and brother are probably gonna see it tomorrow on Friday. So looking forward, hugely looking forward to that. And yeah, I'm kind of that's kind of the next big thing, I would say. I think Stranger Things. I saw a trailer for.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of everything. So
yeah. It was. I'm not used to movies coming out as early as they are these days. Like when people are like, "Yeah, I'm seeing it on Tuesday." I'm like, "How?
yeah,
When
what's
was
the
this a
point of the
thing?"
release date then? Yeah,
Yeah, it used to just be the day before at like 10. Like there was like
yeah,
one showing the night before, and then it was the whole day before, and now
yeah.
it's like, yeah, it's the week before. I'm like,
Yeah, the week.
the,
Yeah, the entire week actually. It's gonna.
what's the point of a release date? It's just say it's a range. Release date is this week. See it whenever you want because it's like, yeah, when you're like, oh, release date's Friday, but not really.
Yeah.
Most people have seen it much before Friday.
Yeah, and I think Doctor Strange is coming out sometime soon. That's gonna be a
Yeah.
fun one. So
Yeah, that'll be the Marvel's first big multiverse breaking, uh, which I feel like was just their thing after being like, all right, we've been doing movies on this one universe for 20 years. I think it's time we reset it to give us some freedom to do other things. So let's just introduce the multiverse, break it, and then we
yeah,
can kind of do whatever we want movie wise. And our default answer can be like, oh, well, remember the multiverse exploded
yeah,
and
that's a
broke.
simple out.
So
Yeah, for writing. Yeah,
that's
this is it.
there's your answer for everything. Because I feel like I'm sure as a writer, people will pick out as soon as someone sees an inconsistency, people
Yeah,
are gonna
plot
jump
holes
on
for
it.
sure.
And
Yeah,
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 with how many times I've just seen from people pointing out every Marvel plot hole, they're like, oh well, if it takes place during this timeline, then that's not possible because in the comics, which this is based off of, that this already happened, which means that's not possible. So I feel like Marvel got so sick of it, they're just like, all right, multiverse broke.
yeah.
What are you gonna pinpoint now? It broke. I'm sorry, guys. Multiverse broke. What are you gonna do?
It's a smart answer. It's a good
It
response.
works. It works. So I know we said we're going to keep it to around like 30, 35
Yeah,
because that's just because I know with you having a hard stop, I was like, I hate when at an exact time and like you like 2 minutes. It's happened before where my son goes to preschool like 2 days a week. And if I don't leave at a certain time, he's late. So I have to leave like at a certain time from work. And like they know this and they're fine with it. But one day like a meeting got scheduled that I couldn't miss and it literally got done 15 seconds after like my break point of when it's impossible to leave. and I ran out the door like middle of winter, like in a t-shirt, just because I was like, I have no time to do anything, and I ran out the door, and I hate when that happens. Um, so I want to make sure I'm going to share the link again here, and I'll share it on the Facebook page and stuff tomorrow as well, leading up to Monday, the day that the Kickstarter actually ends. But can you just like one time again? Can we just kind of like recap genetic superiority as a Kickstarter, how people can support it and everything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Go to, you can go to my website, armannasim.com. You'll see it right at front and center. You can just go on Kickstarter and look up genetic superiority. Click the link that, you're obviously pushing out there. But, it's, when humanity's on the brink of extinction, three new societies arise with conflicting visions of how to survive. And, it's a pre-apocalyptic story, and we get the journey of wasteland and see these the very different types of humans, human evolutions, and we get to kind of get to really choose a faction and really see who's going to survive. You get choices again, and it's a fun time, and we get to see different types of people and memorable characters and creatures and robots, and yeah.
Yeah. So, last question: what personally would you have chosen?
Mm.
Right, you're in this. What are you going with?
Well, I'm probably going to go with an animalist, um, and I would even say that there's a very specific section I want, but it's kind of a surprise and a reveal, so I won't say exactly what type of animalist.
Right, right,
But
right.
one of that is the faction that I would choose, because you get kind of the best of both worlds here. You get and you can kind of do more than just you're physically capable of just being some kind of animal, or animal-like traits and qualities within you. So
Right. So I'm not gonna like see a video of you punching a bear. That's not. We're
exactly,
not. That's
yeah.
not. We're not going with that. All right. I mean, if you change your mind, I'd like to see that, just because I feel like it'd be pretty entertaining. Just be like, hey, look at this is a past guest punching a bear. Uh, but no, I think everyone, we mentioned that before, but the reason why at the Phantom Effect we do a lot of these, Kickstarter shows and shows trying to showcase more of the independent talent is probably just literally because of that phrase alone. Because even when I got into comics, I didn't know how big this industry really was. I mean, it's been growing constantly over the past 5 years or so, but I really didn't know that there was this much of a like independent scene. Because obviously, if for a lot of people out there, if you're primarily just going to a comic book store, even a lot of comic book stores, the person running it obviously is primarily concerned with DC or Marvel or
Yeah.
maybe a couple other people. But I've been to comic stores where they don't even really know the independent scene. They obviously know there's comics that exist, but they're like, yeah, but I don't know how to like get these in my store. Like there's a definite disconnect in the industry, and
Yeah.
that's why we are doing a lot of these shows, is because we want to showcase this talent that exists out there. Not only because we're huge fans, and again, you guys know this, we're never going to bring someone on the show that we don't believe in the work or think that it's a project that's worth supporting. And like Arman said, he's the fastest man in comics. So, if you're joining a Kickstarter, and I know sometimes people get worried about like, I can't remember what the game is called. I don't know if you might have heard of this, but there's a game that's been in development for like 15 years or something, and it came off of like a Kickstarter, right, where they were promising all these different things, and now people are finally trying to like sue the game company because it's been like 15 years. There hasn't been an update in like 2 years,
Mm.
and they've taken like with something in the tune of like $20 million
Crazy.
from people, and there's been nothing done on like the game at all. And so they just keep saying like, "Oh, don't worry, it's gonna happen. We'll release an update soon," and then nothing happens. And so I know sometimes people can get worried about it, but like Amran said, he shipped out the first stuff in less than a month. And so if you support this Kickstarter if the latest you can expect something is like first week, second early week of April, which again is only a month from now, that's an insane fast turnaround, and definitely getting your bang for your buck. Especially if you're into that kind of science fiction, different post-apocalyptic, which I know is huge right now. So people that are fans of Attack on Titan or different shows that are in kind of like that post-humanity world, definitely need to check out this Kickstarter. And like Arman said, if you go to this Kickstarter and you somehow miss it and you don't get a chance to support it, go to okay, go to his specific website, armannasim.com. Check out some of the other work, and then we'll just can we talk about the other? We can talk about the other thing, right? For what's going to happen next month, or
No. So actually, I don't think you know. I didn't tell you yet. It's a new one. It's a new project, and I'll come back for that for sure.
oh, okay. I didn't know about season 2. I know you because I think I know you had mentioned
Yes,
season 2.
yes.
Okay,
Season 2 will come out,
right.
and that's the one after this one. So that's gonna be
Oh,
in
okay. I
April.
gotcha.
One's launching at the end of this month in
Oh,
March.
okay. I gotcha. Okay, so yeah, we'll bring you back on for that one. But for those that are curious about some other stuff you've done, and you did the book Lost Magic, just stay tuned. You will be able to get the first issue of Lost Magic if you missed the first go around. So just stay tuned for that. I'm showing it right now, it's a crazy cool cover. But we'll be bringing you back on for different projects and things.
Yeah.
But make sure, like I said, everyone, I'm going to be sharing this over the next 3 days on our platforms, because not only do I want to make sure this hits 1,200, but if we can hit 2,000 and just blow us out of the water. Again, most of us spend a lot of money on comics, myself included. I actually have personally scaled back how much I was buying from DC or Marvel, so I can get more of the independent scene stuff.
Yes.
So we can all afford to spend one extra week not going to our pull boxes and supporting a Kickstarter. Like I said, I know I'm not going to tell anyone to go, everyone to go out there and throw the $200 one out there, because I know money can get tight for people, but $5-10, it's definitely worth it. If you're a digital person, boom, $5 you get the digital copy. $10 you get the signed copy, signed physical copy, and a digital copy. So I mean, $5-10 help them run out here, get them to the next tier, get them to the next level, and help support future projects. That's the whole point. The more we help out kind of the independent on that side, can lead to just more projects down the road. And we all have dreams and things that we want to accomplish. And so if we help support other people, then when it's our turn to do something and to get something out there, you're going to be shocked at the response you'll get from people and trying to help you out. And I can definitely attest to that. Stuff I can't publicly say yet. Armand knows some stuff, obviously, because we trust him, but just stuff in general. We're getting ready to do a lot of stuff here on the Phantom Effect in the next 3 to 6 months are going to be huge for us in general. And we've already got a lot of people lined up waiting to help. And it's just because we did what we could, not expecting anything to help out people. And then we realized that we needed help when it's coming time for us to do stuff. And so, like Armand said, it's just the more you help out people, you're going to be shocked at the response that you're going to get. So make sure you go to support this Kickstarter. I would love if by the end of today we can hit this 1,200. And because again, we are suspiciously good when we do these shows at having the goal increase by the end of the day. And whether that's us or from other people, we've been really good at this. So I'm going to expect you guys are going to continue that. And I'm going to go check this out like tomorrow afternoon. I'm going to see this past 1,200. So I'm just going to expect that from all you guys that are listening. So I'm going to make sure to share this over the next couple days because I know we're live now, but I can just literally pull the video and do I can literally just re-air recordings that were already done. So this is going to be re-airing. If you don't get the chance to catch this now and you're kind of curious about it and it gets lost in the shuffle of Facebook and Twitch and how it does all that stuff, I'll be replaying this at some point before the end of the weekend, so you guys have another chance to just kind of hear about Arman, hear about the project, and why you should be supporting this in general. So if you're just tuning in now and you're like, oh man, I missed it, don't worry. I will re-air this for everybody so you can catch it. But Arman, I know you mentioned the website and the Kickstarter. Did you have anywhere else that you want to plug that people can like check out some of your stuff at? I don't know if you have like an
Yeah,
art Instagram or something.
you can reach me on Instagram. It's probably the easiest at real Arman Nasim. You know, that's basically it.
Okay, who's the fake one? I want to
Too
know
many.
who's the
Yeah.
which. So by the way, so I will. So you missed this part. Since the last time you were on, uh, we actually have a Instagram now. So I'll make sure to hit you up so we can hit you up on the
Cool.
Instagram as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
But any final words for anybody out there?
No, please, support the dream. Back this book. It's very important because if it doesn't, then issue two it won't get made. It's one of those things where there's so many in the pipeline that if this doesn't find an audience, it's gonna kind of fall. Um,
Yeah.
so so we're hoping, there's so much of the story that we want to tell. And I'm not sure if you read Mark, but this was like five issue story arc that we wanted to tell here, and it has an amazing ending. We actually worked backwards from the ending. We came up with the ending first, and then worked backwards. So we're trying to get there, and yeah, that's basically it.
All right. Awesome. Well, Armand, and once again, I appreciate you coming on the show. And like we already kind of mentioned, you'll be back. If you do want to check out the different stuff that the Phantom Effect is doing, there's a few different ways you can go to. If you want to check out different past episodes, the last time Armand was on, you can just pretty much go to any major podcasting platform that you're on and just search the Phantom Effect and it'll pop up. Facebook and Twitter is at Phantom Effect, and literally check out our Teespring and different merch and stuff like that. And just go ahead and check out the Phantom Effect, and then check out Armand's stuff as well. And don't forget, everybody, new episodes every Wednesday. We might be transitioning back to Fridays, but we'll keep you updated on that. This week's episode was with Alfred Kanawa from Wrestling Inc. and Forbes magazine, where we talked about the current state of the wrestling industry and if, with the introduction of AEW, of proper representation towards black and ethnic wrestlers is being more represented today, or are we still seeing the same trends of the past with people making mistakes? So we try to really like dive into that topic this week, and just stay tuned for new episodes. We got a lot of fun stuff in the future, but we'll see you guys next time on whether it's a live show or the pre-recorded show. But we'll see you guys soon.
But